Woman to woman. Have you ever noticed something? Some women become even more attractive after 60. Not because they look younger, not because they try harder, but because there's something about them that makes people feel peaceful just by being around them. And then there are other women, beautiful women, kind women, women with so much to offer, who quietly begin to believe they're invisible. They wonder, is love simply something that belongs to younger women now? If you've ever asked yourself that question, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because I don't think the answer is what most people have told you. I believe one of the biggest lies our culture has ever told women is this: that after 60, your value begins to fade. Woman to woman, I don't believe that for a second. In fact, I believe something completely different. I believe that a good man isn't looking for a younger woman. He's looking for a peaceful one. He's looking for someone whose presence makes life feel lighter, not more complicated. And that's exactly what reminded me of my dear friend Elaine. Elaine and I were sitting together one afternoon at a quiet little cafe overlooking the lake. The autumn leaves were gently falling. People walked past us holding hands. Some were young. Some had been married for decades. Elaine watched them for a long moment before she smiled. Then she looked at me and asked something I'll never forget. Do you know when I realized Richard truly loved me? I smiled and said, when he told you? She laughed softly and shook her head. No, it wasn't when he said it. It was when I realized I never had to pretend around him. I remember sitting there quietly because those words stayed with me. She wasn't talking about flowers or expensive dinners or grand romantic gestures. She was talking about peace. The kind of peace that lets you breathe. The kind of peace that makes you feel safe enough to simply be yourself. That's when I realized something. By the time we reach 60, many good men are no longer searching for perfection. They're searching for peace. And that brings me to the first thing emotionally mature men quietly look for in a woman after 60. Number 1, emotional peace. Not perfection. Peace. Elaine once told me, Richard never had to wonder who I was pretending to be. What he saw was simply me. She had stopped trying to impress people years earlier. She no longer felt the need to compete or prove herself or seek everyone's approval. And somehow, that quiet confidence drew Richard closer. Because emotionally mature men become tired of drama. They've already lived through enough misunderstandings, enough arguments, enough emotional games. At this stage of life, most good men come home hoping for one thing: not excitement, not chaos, simply peace. A woman who can disagree without disrespect. A woman who listens before reacting. A woman who brings calm into the room instead of tension. That kind of woman becomes unforgettable, not because she's perfect, but because she feels like home. One afternoon, Elaine and I were walking through a bookstore. I smiled when I noticed Richard wasn't looking for her. He already knew exactly where she would be, in the history section, holding another book. When she finally joined us, Richard laughed and said, I knew I'd find you here. Elaine smiled. You know me too well. Richard looked at me and quietly said something I've never forgotten. One of the things I love most about Elaine, she's still curious about life. That sentence stayed with me because after 60, many people stop growing. They stop asking questions. They stop learning. They begin believing they've already seen everything life has to offer. But Elaine wasn't like that. She loved reading. She loved learning. She enjoyed documentaries. She loved hearing other people's stories. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She simply believed there was always something new to discover. And do you know what? Richard loved that about her. Because emotionally mature men aren't looking for someone who's perfect. They're looking for someone they can keep growing with. Someone who still laughs, still wonders, still dreams, still believes tomorrow can teach them something today never could. A woman who keeps growing never becomes boring. She becomes more beautiful with every conversation. The third thing men quietly admire is a woman who knows her worth. Several months later, Elaine and Richard attended a charity dinner. The room was filled with elegant people, beautiful dresses, expensive suits, successful couples. I watched Elaine greet everyone with the same warm smile. She wasn't trying to outshine anyone. She wasn't comparing herself to the younger women in the room. She wasn't searching for attention. She simply enjoyed being herself. On our drive home, I asked Richard, "What was going through your mind tonight?" He smiled. Then he said something every woman deserves to hear. Elaine doesn't walk into a room asking, "Will they like me?" She walks into a room knowing who she is. That is confidence. Not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't need applause. The kind that doesn't compete. The kind that doesn't chase validation. Woman to woman, there is something incredibly attractive about a woman who has made peace with herself. She knows her strengths. She accepts her imperfections. She no longer apologizes for taking up space. And because she values herself, she naturally teaches others how to value her too. Good men notice that. Not because she's trying to impress them, but because genuine confidence is impossible to fake. The fourth thing men never forget is joy. A few weeks later, Elaine invited Richard over for dinner. Nothing fancy, no expensive restaurant, no special occasion. Just homemade chicken, fresh vegetables, warm bread, and 2 cups of tea. As I watched them from the kitchen, I noticed something. They laughed. Not because anything extraordinary had happened, but because Elaine had accidentally added too much pepper to the soup. She covered her face and laughed. Richard took another spoonful and smiled. Well, I guess we'll both remember this dinner. Instead of feeling embarrassed, Elaine laughed even harder. That simple moment taught me something. Joy doesn't always come from big vacations or expensive gifts. Sometimes it comes from laughing over burnt toast, dancing in the living room, watching the rain together, or simply enjoying each other's company. Richard later told me, "Life gives us enough serious moments. I wanted someone who could still laugh with me." Woman to woman, a joyful heart is beautiful. Not because it ignores life's hardships, but because it refuses to let them steal every beautiful moment. Good men notice that, because peace and laughter often live in the same home. And finally, the fifth thing, a woman who makes him feel accepted. Several months later, Elaine shared something deeply personal with me. She said, Do you know why Richard always felt safe with me? I smiled. Why? She quietly replied, because I never expected him to be perfect. Those words stayed with me. She continued, there were days he was tired, days he was worried, days he didn't know what to say. I never saw those moments as weakness. I simply saw the man I loved. That touched my heart, because so many people spend relationships trying to change each other, trying to fix each other, trying to create someone who doesn't exist. But emotionally mature love feels different. It says, I see your imperfections, and I still choose to walk beside you. That doesn't mean accepting disrespect or accepting hurtful behavior. Healthy relationships still need honesty, healthy boundaries, and mutual respect. But when two people know they don't have to pretend, something beautiful happens. Trust begins to grow. And trust is where lasting love lives. Woman to woman, if there's one thing I hope you remember today, it's this. A good man isn't searching for perfection. He's searching for peace. He's looking for a woman whose presence feels like home. A woman who continues to grow, who knows her worth, who still laughs, who accepts love with an open heart, and who brings kindness into the ordinary moments of life. Those qualities don't fade with age. If anything, they become even more beautiful. So if you've ever worried that you've become invisible, please don't believe that lie. Your greatest strength may not be behind you. It may be the woman you've become through every lesson, every tear, every disappointment, and every victory. Because after 60, real beauty isn't measured by the years you've lived. It's measured by the peace you've learned to carry. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 qualities do you believe matters most in a lasting relationship? Share your answer in the comments. Your story might encourage another woman who needs hope today. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself, and remember, the right man won't ask you to become someone else. He'll appreciate the woman life has shaped you to become. Because the best love after 50 doesn't make your heart race every day. It gives your heart a place to rest.